Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Artur Zaborski. I am honored to host the Q&A session with the producer behind the project. I accidentally wrote a book, Claudia Sümeghy. Hello, Claudia. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting.
So I accidentally wrote a book. It's the adaptation of the best-selling Dutch novel. How come that actually you got interested in it, and how come that you decided to make the adaptation in Hungary?
First of all, I'm one of the producers. So I'm a producer of the project, and my partner is Nora Lakos, who is the director and also producer. And actually, she wrote the book. She wrote the screenplay too. And Nora came up with the idea to make adaptation from this best-selling book because, like 2 years ago, she bumped into a recommendation for a children's book for Christmas or something, and she right after she bought the book, the Hungarian edition of this Dutch novel, and it was just very, very attractive and inspiring for her because it was moving and very funny at the same time. And then she decided to write a screenplay from it. And then she came to me, and we decided to approach the Dutch publisher. And that was the point when the journey started.
Gotcha. And when Nora came to you and told you that she wanted to make this adaptation, what dragged you actually into this project? What you found interesting in it?
Well, this book is not just a very nice and very heartwarming novel, but I think it has a very important message to say. Actually, the book is about a young girl, Katinka. She's 13, and she decides to write. She decides to start writing and learn studying writing from the neighbor who is an author. And right after she starts to studying writing this book, she realizes that she starts to overcome her grief of losing her mother. So actually, overcoming grief is a very important topic in our movie, and it's an important topic in my life too. So I was kind of that age, so about 13 or 14, when I lost my grandma, and actually we lived together. So the three generations lived together that time. So it was like losing my mother, and it was a very, very tough way to overcome her loss. And I know it's very important, and that's why I was, at first was emotionally attached to this story. On the other hand, Nora is one of the most promising emerging directors in Hungary, and she is not just a director, but the founder of the Hungarian International Children's Festival, Cinamira. So she's totally obsessed with children's movies. And it was very convincing. I'm an emerging producer of Hungary, so I think it was the right time to find a project which has higher international potential, and on the other hand, a very, very important message to spread.
Gotcha. What I find interesting, Claudia, is the fact that you are a female producer. Nora is the female director. The author of the book is the female writer. So it seems like it's going to be like the really woman power project.
Yes, we can say that. And actually, the project was developed, the screenplay was developed at Kids Script Lab. And the script doctor and the consultant from Script Lab was Mieke de Jong, who is the woman also. So yeah, it's important. And we have a production designer. She's female, so she's a woman too. Yeah, I think we have so many things in common, and we don't really decide on whether we are female or male. But I think these kind of energies and these kind of, you know, messages and topics and stories being based on empathy, revolving around family, um, yeah, it's just something that we have in common. It's important for both or all of us.
Mhm. I think that the energy that you mentioned is really important in the contemporary times. I remember from my childhood that when I was watching the family cinema, the films for whole family or for children, it was mostly the story of the young boy's perspective. So I'm really glad that this situation is changing, that it is shifting. And right now we can have project like yours that actually presents the young female perspective.
Thank you.
So tell me, what is the stage of this project? Like, what are you looking for during the Kids Kino Industry?
Well, we have a close to final draft. It's not a shooting draft, but we are over the Hungarian screenplay development process. And you know, we developed a project at Script Lab. Yes, Sineki Script Lab. So now we are in the doorstep of development. We just now applied our proposal for Creative Europe Media for in a mini slate. So first of all, we are looking for co-production partners from Poland, and we are looking around for post-production co-production partners from the Netherlands. You know, regarding the book is a Dutch adaptation, and yeah, now we are in this stage, and we hope that we can have promising conversation at Kids Kino.
I keep my fingers crossed for you guys, apparently. But Claudia, I have to ask you about one more thing. Actually, what is the situation of the cinema for young audience in Hungary? Is it the genre that is actually something popular? You make that kind of films, or do you stay separate and this is something that actually is not as popular as it should be?
Well, before the system changed, Hungarian children's movie or filmmaking was quite famous and frequent, so usual. And in the last 30 years, it just vanished. It just disappeared. And actually, there was like a minimum number of children's movie that has been made. And that was the reason why Nora decided to launch this Hungarian Children's Film Festival a few years ago, because she decided to somehow, you know, make the revival of the Hungarian children's movie. So now we don't have a separate department at the National Film Institute for family movies, but they are more open-minded and they are more open to, you know, support projects that that targets the younger audience. I think now they are, you know, in the doorstep of just looking around if there's any potential for international co-productions for Hungarian movie making. And yeah, first, we are quite pioneers in this field, so it's very important to prove, even for the whole Hungarian filming industry, to prove that children's movies are very important, and they have a huge potential in them.
So we have to keep our fingers crossed for you guys. I'm very glad that you decided to do that. And I'm very glad, Claudia, that you find the time to meet with us. Our guest was the producer of the film I Accidentally Wrote a Book, Claudia Sümeghy. Thank you so much.